Monday Yoga Flow. So I hear the applause. Hey! But remember, what's nice to me may not be what's nice to you. So, I can't guarantee anything specific, although I know that I need some good stretches on my legs. So that's one place we'll be working on. Just overall, just basically everything, but especially some hip and legs. But let's get started by getting on the mat with maybe a blanket under your knees. And you might even like to place, if you have a second blanket, maybe a blanket or something rolled up, even a bath towel would work, right? If you would like to place something here right over the top of your calves right there, that might feel good too. And I like to take the knees pretty wide and then sit back. And this gives you a little more space. So if we do come to seated here, you might have a little bit more lift and a little more cushion. It's not compressing your knees so much. Okay, so then we'll come forward into our child's pose. And let's just start here with a few deep rounds of breath, getting yourself nice and kind of heavy and relaxed into the space. So your hands might be resting in front of you. Maybe they're under your head. They could even be all the way back by your feet. Always feel free to have something underneath your head. If it feels like you're kind of diving forward and there's a lot of pressure on your head, go ahead and lift your head up a little bit. And that might just be the hands to lift your head up, maybe all you need. Just starting with a few nice big deep breaths, connecting your body and your breath this morning or this afternoon, wherever this finds you. So I want you just to find that nice little soft space in the back of the throat. And don't think about a forceful breath or if you have to create any sounds or anything, just a nice open space. I want you to really feel like there was a lot of hollowness in the back of your throat and traveling all the way down towards your belly. And you start to rise and expand in your low back. And then let that wave kind of rise and expand all the way up towards your shoulder blades and your ribs, your belly pushing forward. Your ribs expanding towards your thighs. Letting your shoulders stay as relaxed as possible. And as you start to reach your hands forward, just start to stretch out like you would kind of reach up first thing in the morning. So if you just kind of reach it out nice and long, elbows probably lifting off the mat even. And then just start to sway a little. So a little weight in your hands and a little shift of your shoulders and your torso, just a little bit side to side. And then we'll come to a center space and start to walk your hands over to one side off of your mat and reach out really long. So it doesn't really matter which side you pick first, but whichever side you're reaching toward, use that opposite hand to slide it up a little bit further. So if you're reaching to the left, slide your right hand up a little bit further than you normally would. And see if you can get a long line on that right side or whichever side that you're reaching toward. You're going to get that long stretch on the opposite side. So coming back around to center, very small little steps to walk you back through and then over to the opposite side and reach. Let the head just kind of fall, shoulder pull back away from your ear a little bit. Still finding your deep breath. And then we'll come back to center. Start to walk your hands back on your mat. We'll start to stack the knees just a little bit more, so meaning not so far out to the sides. And as you rise up, big sweep. So inhale, shift your hips forward. Just kind pull the arms back a little bit, and then exhale, we'll fold down into our child's pose again, but this time I want you to float your arms out. So it's a little floating child's pose, and your head turns slightly. So now I want you to lift up again. Inhale. We're going to use the deep core space here. You're going to turn your head to the opposite side. Reach out like an airplane and see if you can just scoop your belly and hover slightly. Inhale, just activating that deep core space. Lift up, stretching through the front body. Exhale, pull the belly in, reach like an airplane back. Maybe even place one palm on top of the other, floating. And then come back up, inhale. Exhale, sweeping back again. You can reach or stack one hand over the sacrum on top of the other. Making sure that you're not feeling discomfort or pain in your knees. If you feel any discomfort or pain, maybe you like to use your hands for a little more support in front of you. This is perfectly acceptable. I want you to take what's right for you. And then inhale, come up. And then exhale. One last time here. We'll inhale, come back up to standing on the knees. Hands go back behind you. Here I'm just going to place hands right above the glutes so that your palm is just right here at the very top part. Your shoulders are pulling back. Your tail is dropping down. So you're using your fingers just a little bit to kind of help push down just a little and scoop the belly up, lift up through the heart. Just finding kind of a small little camel, but it's also a nice stretch for your wrist. Nice little open camel space. So I want you to kind of see if you can drive your inner thighs toward each other a little bit. And like they're going to rotate in and behind you just slightly. So that might cause your feet to go out a little further to the sides. Take one more breath. Take that lift through the heart, shoulders pulling back, opening up the chest. We'll bring it back down. So if you've got that blanket that's across your feet, you might like to place it over to the side just so it won't be in your way. And then you're going to adjust your pants and your clothing. I have a feeling that's going to happen a lot today for me. All right, we're going to walk forward with the hands, finding that extended child's pose again, and then coming up, finding little tabletop. Okay. Toes turning under, lifting up, pressing back into your first down dog. So in your down dog, know that there is no perfect down dog. There's just the down dog that feels right for you today. So I want you to take a moment, maybe shift out from heel to heel. And then you may like to just kind of pump the heels up and down at the same time, getting a little more mobility of your ankles. Stretch through the calf and the Achilles. I like to even take a moment and kind of shift it around a little. Do a little twist side to side. And just kind of move your heels like little windshield wipers, side to side. And as you're ready, we'll come back down. You can leave your blanket there. You might move it forward a little bit, a little more into the middle center part of your mat. Sitting back, find your child's pose again. We'll inhale, come up and come forward. Exhale, press back into down dog. And every time, just let the breath, let you kind of move with your breath. So I want you to feel your breath and know where you are in space. Every time you breathe in, you're moving to center. Every time you exhale, you're pressing back to either child's pose or down dog. So you get to choose a back and forth, or you could just stay with the one. I like to mix them up. Exhale, pressing back. Find the full expression of your exhale as you press back. Inhale, coming forward. Such a great way just to get everything warmed up. If you did nothing else in the morning, if you got up and just did a few down dog and kind of back and forth in these little salutations of down dog to child's pose, you could really get your body kind of warmed up and stretched out. Let's take last one. And then coming forward, take a little pause. Start to drop your knees down. I want you to step your right foot forward. So here's where you might like to have your blocks nearby. So as we take this first little low lunge, Checking out your back knee, making sure you're not right directly on top of it, so you might turn your toes under and kind of scooch that back a little. So we want this nice long line. I like to have the blocks here to lift up a little higher. I want you to lift your heart up, shoulders pulling back and down. Let's just hang out here for a few breaths first. So I want you to see if you could kind of draw your hip points up just a little bit, kind of off of your thigh, so that you don't feel a hard press right here where the thigh and the leg meet. Okay, I guess the thigh and the leg are basically the same thing. So where your pelvis and your thigh meet. Maybe I'm not fully awake. Okay. Press it back and find in your nice little kind of shortened stance, almost like a little pyramid, little half split. Take another couple of breaths here. So notice if when you press back, if there's kind of any weird shifting of your hips. So sometimes they shift back and we kind of sink down into it. I want you to lift up tall. And then see if you can kind of even them out a little. And we'll take just a couple more breaths here and maybe even pump your foot. Just kind of pointing and flexing, really feeling what's happening there in the ankle, in the front of the leg, into the anterior tibialis, the shin, and into the back of the leg, your calf. So go ahead and come forward. Take that nice lunge. Maybe it got a little bit deeper this time. And we're going to sweep the left arm. Sweep it up. Nice big reach and over to the side. Making sure you feel supported and secure here with your other hand, or that hand can reach to the floor. And then bring it back down. We'll just shift those blocks out of the way, sending your right leg back to meet the left. So however you like to get it there. Let's sit back into a child's pose, get a nice big stretch. And then coming back up, and we'll send the left leg forward. So you can just shift it forward, you can swing it off to the side, however it gets there the most efficient way for you. And then turning your toes under, moving that back knee further back. So check out that front knee, always making sure that alignment is safe. Knee right over the heel. So just always checking back in with yourself and knowing that what you're doing is just to find the right spaces for you. Right? So this isn't about doing it right or wrong. It's just about being safe and then finding the benefit that feels right for you. I've had some people recently, sometimes people start yoga and they say, oh, I don't really like yoga, which of course I can't comprehend. Oh, you don't like yoga? But I get it. Sometimes it's because some of it feels so awkward if you've not done it before. So know that when you're in a posture, it's not about, am I doing this right? It's about, am I doing this safe and do I feel good here? Right? That's where I want you to walk away with. It's not right, it's not wrong. It's just, how do you feel? Okay, so press it back. Let's find that little half split again. So here I typically need to kind of shift my heel forward a little from where I started. Okay, so get that nice long line so that you're lining up your hip right over that bottom knee. It may require you coming up even taller, because know that this already is a stretch. If you were standing upright, you brought this leg up towards you, it would be a pretty intense stretch already. So you have to move, again, according to how it feels for you. We're going to stay here for a few more breaths. So if you'd like to move yourself further down, and that feels good for you, you could take that. Just know that there's options that are available for everyone. Soften up your elbows, your shoulders. Make sure that you're not, I'm going to fall if I let go. I want you to be soft, hang out there, take some breaths, maybe pump that foot a few times. Inhale, exhale, just kind of shifting forward and back on that heel. And on the flexing of the foot, I want you to really pull your toes back and see how that feels. See what's happening in your calf today. Our calves play a very, very important role in our body. And if they're really shortened, they can affect our balance. Bring it back to center. I want you to shift forward again, back into that maybe deeper lunge. Now sweep the right arm up and over. Getting a nice long line on your right body, right side body. You know, because you got your right body and your left body. We got two of them today. Oh, we have two side bodies. And then bring it back to center. So go ahead here, and we're going to set those blocks just right off to the side for a moment. And then maybe you want to just pick up that back knee, and we can slide this blanket out, because I don't really want that to be setting our hips off any when we step back. So we'll step up to the top of the mat, into your forward bend. So your forward bend may be a very bent knee variation. Mine looks a lot something like this first thing in the morning. No joke about it. Like when I hop out of bed and I start to do my salutations, my first forward bend is like a squat. All right, hands come up to the thighs. And let's just bring ourselves up nice and slow. We're going to just do a few of those salutations. So I want you to again move to the pace that feels right for you. We're going to find 4 gratitude salutations this morning. So just meaning that we're going to kind of run through in our mind what we're grateful for as we move. So finding your Tadasana or mountain at the top of your mat. Let's take a moment, just maybe close your eyes even, see how you feel here. Do you feel a little more grounded already in your practice this morning? Finding sensations through the bottoms of your feet to the mat, connecting to the earth. Let's sweep the arms up. Big deep breath. Put a little bend in your knees already, and then come forward. Nice flat back as you're coming forward. Let your head hang at the bottom. Inhale, start to rise up with your heart first. Sliding up into your halfway up. Exhale, bring it down. We're going to step back nice and slow. Big giant steps. Stepping back to the back of your mat. And then the other leg back. You choose. I'm going first with knees down. You can have knees up. We're going to lower down nice and super slow. Down to the mat. Tops of your feet. Press down. Get those cobra legs. Active quads. Glutes active. Pushing down through pubic bone. Little slide up of your heart. Finding your first intention. What are you grateful for this morning? I usually start my gratitude with my gratitude first being for my practice, because that's what got me there. I want you to take little steps or big steps up to the top. Halfway lift and then exhale, fold. Lifting all the way up. Hands coming to heart center. Inhale, start to sweep up, take up space. Exhale, forward bend. Softening up the knees, lifting your heart, sliding up. Exhale, fold, stepping back. Maybe step with the opposite foot than you did last time. If you don't remember, it's okay. Shifting forward on your toes. If you're going to stay on your toes, you could always drop your knees again. Lowering down, elbows in, nice and slow. As you lift your heart into your cobra, strong cobra, shoulders back, elbows pinned in. Second gratitude. Back up. So as we're moving along, stepping, walking, coming to the top of your mat, my gratitude is being thankful and grateful for my body and its movements and abilities today. Inhale, sweep, exhale, fold. Lifting halfway up. Exhale, stepping back. Finding your variation of plank, knees or toes, and lowering down to the mat. If you prefer up dog, you could sweep up there into your up dog. I'm going to stay with a little cobra, maybe a little higher cobra. I just want you to be mindful that your ears are not shrugging. Your ears are not shrugging. Your shoulders are not shrugging either. Press it back. Third, gratitude. I'm grateful to not have shrugging ears. Step up. I'm actually just really grateful for my health and the health of those around me. Bring it down. Let's take one more big one. Inhale. Exhale, forward bend. Hopefully feeling a little looser already. Stepping back, finding your plank. Shifting forward, inhale, knees can be down for sure. Just find your way slowly to the mat. Lifting with an open heart, strong legs, strong glutes. Last gratitude here. I'm grateful for the community that I serve and the community that I get to experience through Zoom. Halfway down or halfway up and then back down. I don't know where those words are coming from. Back to heart center. Let's inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward bend. You to come halfway up. Let's step it back. I want you to step first just into a little table position for a moment. If you feel like you need a blanket under your knees, go ahead and take that again. Okay, but we're going to take the left leg. I'm going to keep the toes pulled down so the foot is flexed, and then push that leg up. Now, see if you can lift your belly up and in a little more, and we'll start to rotate, lifting that hip up and over. If you feel like you need to drop your right elbow, go ahead and take that elbow down. Just trying to open up through that hip. Big, deep breath. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. I want you to bring that leg around and see if you can swing it all the way up toward the top of your mat. So here we are in this kind of nice little lunge, but your hands right now are on the inside. So if you'd like to take your blocks again, go ahead. You can have those blocks and frame that front foot. Okay, so we'll move our hands to frame that foot. Go ahead and take your, throwing blocks. And take that right hand on your block or on the mat and then twisting toward the front knee. So just open it up here. There you go, very nice. So you're scooting that knee towards you just a little bit rather than letting it fall out to the side for now. Let's take another big deep breath. Just kind of pull the left rib cage back. Don't worry about where the arm is. And then come back around to center. You can take that left hand now on your block. I'm going to lower it down a little bit. And then start to walk back. Finding that nice little pyramid position again. Now from here, a little trickier. I'm going to take the right foot and spin it around as I send the left heel out to the short end of that mat and then reach up. Okay, so I'm just spinning on the right leg. If you need to come around and kind of place it there, you can take that moment to do so. And we're opening up the hips and pulling that right side back. So this leg just kind of shifted forward a little. And then reaching up. Go ahead and sweep that arm up and over. So right arm by bicep by ear. And we'll take that last moment there and kind of now spin yourself again. I want you to pull that hip back. You might need to turn your toes under and lift the knee to shift back around to center, depending on your knee. And you're folding forward a little deeper. Whatever that looks like for you. So just find the space that you can fold forward here over that leg, or maybe even just slightly to the inside of it. And if that means your hands are on the floor, they're on blocks, or maybe elbows are propped on something, take that moment. Just relax your neck, relax your jaw. Let's come back into center. We're just going to shift the whole situation to the other side. So set those blocks up to the side. Now if you would like to take that left leg, and you can take your hands to the inside and just sweep it back where it started from. Okay. So now take a moment, shift out. If you'd like, again, make sure that you have a blanket under your knees or something cushioning your knees if it's not feeling quite right for your knees here, because we are on them for a little bit. So I want you to now take that right side, lift it up, and then start to flip it open. Like I'm going to send my heel to the wall that's to the left and behind me. So once again, if you like to take your elbow down, that might give you a little more leverage. You're opening up here. Let's take another couple breaths. You're going to get ready now to come back up as you come to center. Slide your left hand back to the mat if it wasn't already, and sweep your right leg all the way up and around. And then just hang out there, hands to either side of that leg. You can grab your blocks, lift the heart, and here we go. We're going to start to shift back. So send your hips back a little bit on that right side. Now taking the right leg and just spinning as you push. My mat's also not super grippy, so it's very easy for me to slide. Yours might not do that. So you might have to kind of shift it forward a little with a little more effort. Okay, I'm sending that left foot behind the left knee, hand on the block at any level that you like, and reaching up. So it looks a lot like a triangle pose here, but on the knee. Good. And if it's just super uncomfortable, you're going to come to standing. You can do the same thing. All right, but that right leg is as straight as you can get it. You're just balancing here with the left knee down. Go ahead and reach it over. Nice little reach, kind of towards your toes. And then we're going to take a little spin as we come back around. You're going to start to drop that left arm. You can take it to the block. And you're going to pull your right hip back as you spin back around to center. And now we're just hovering over that front leg again. So making time just to come down, whether it's on your blocks or on your elbows or wherever it is. It may still just be hands propped up on the blocks and just folding forward as much as you can. I want you to find a big deep breath. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Take the last couple of breaths here. I want you just to come back up. Let's go ahead and bend that front knee. So as you bend the front knee, turn the toes under on the back foot, and we'll lift the back knee up. You might even take a little hop if there's too much space there. We're going to walk the hands along the inside of your front foot and start to spin yourself around toward the long edge of your mat. So if that puts you in an awkward position and you can't see your screen and you feel like you need to see, just turn around, reposition yourself. We'll be okay. All right. Or just look at me through your legs. That's always fun. Okay, so here we are. I want you to just in this nice wide leg, already kind of forward bend position. So toes are going straight ahead toward the long edge of your mat. The outside pinky toe sides are kind of parallel with the short ends of your mat. So the blocks are out in front of your chest, and we're going to start to bend the elbows. Just see where you can go here. Go ahead and straighten it back up. Inhale. I'm going to turn it sideways for just a moment. So making sure that the hips, if there was a wall here, then your bottom and your heel would be on the same wall rather than shifting them back. So if they need to be a little bent, this is okay. This is perfectly acceptable for your body, right? So find what works. Come down and then press it back up. Okay, just a couple more. Shift down, pull the belly in, exhale up, and let's take just one more. I want you to hang out there for just a second, keeping your left hand on the block. Okay, I'm going to mirror you on this one since I'm facing you. So your left hand on the block, let your right hand hang. We're going to sweep it under and then bring it up. Just a little twist from your waist. I want you to try to keep your hips nice and level. If I came by and I set my morning coffee right there on your sacrum, it wouldn't move, right? Because your sacrum is staying steady. You're just turning from your waist and opening up on that your right side. And take the last one. And then bring it back down. Let's take that to the other side. Okay, right hand anchored, kind of at center. Okay. Sweep your left arm. You can put a little bend in that elbow. Bring it up. So the biggest intention here is your breath and keeping your hips nice and steady. We're just finding this little rotation. Gently let the shoulder fall, and then exhale, lift up. 2 more, inhale. Exhale, up. Let's take last one. And back up. Good. Go ahead and come back to center. Take your blocks, walk them back. So as you start to walk them back, I want you to just heel toe your feet, just a tiny bit, not a lot. Starting to turn your toes on the left foot towards short end of your mat. Go ahead and walk the block back. The other block can hang out here. And we're just going to take it up into a nice little triangle. Good. If it's a little deep, feel free to slide up, hand above the knee. Just doing basically the same thing we were doing on our knee before. Now both legs involved. Let's take another deep breath. You can sweep that arm over. That always feels really good for me to get more on the side waist. See if you can kind of straighten out. So if you feel like you're kind of bowing up, like I was just doing, I'm shortening the bottom side waist. I want to see if I can keep it a little longer and get more space here. Go ahead and sweep it back around. You're going to take the block that you had just so you can walk back around to center, turn your toes. Now, left toes are going to stay right where they are, pointing towards short end of your mat. Right toes kick back on your heel, start to rotate, and then walk over. Placing right hand to the outside, left arm spins up. So notice if kind of that bottom waist feels like it's kind of crunched up a little bit, and if you're bowing up on the top waist, see if you could equal out both side waists. That's going to cause you to get more stretch on the hamstrings of the leg that's in front, which is now your right leg, and even along your inner thigh. So if you want to take it one step further, you can reach the bicep by the ear, hand reaching forward over your head. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then go ahead and start to sweep yourself back down. Coming all the way to center, heel toe your feet. You make a choice here. So as we plant the heels, so that our knees, our feet, our hips are about hip, shoulder, blah, 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 blah. Let me get those words out. Words are hard. Shoulder distance apart. Okay, I want you to set your booty back. Your toes are out. Elbows can land right on top, and it looks like you're hovering. You're in the woods, ready to go camping. So, sorry, but it does. Okay, so you can either get ready to go camping, or you can drop your booty down lower if that feels appropriate for you and your knees, and drop down into a nice little malasana squat. That's your choice. You could also take blocks and sit on them underneath you. Okay? You could also take this option and do a supported malasana. Make sure they're stacked, flat sides. Okay? You don't want them real tall. So I'm still coming forward a little bit. My heels are pulled back. I'm just lifting through the heart. So all of these moves that we are doing, helping you to stretch out, but also hopefully helping to get you into a functional space. Because if I know that so many of us like to get out, and especially right now, do some yard work, do some gardening. We're squatting down, we're planting things, we're picking weeds, whatever we're doing. And this is actually functional. This is functional movement right here. I was doing this a lot yesterday. So know that these things that we do are not just to make you feel uncomfortable, they're functional. All right, so now I want you to release. All right, so you could always do this even in your garden. You can grab your yoga blocks, right? Find a way that you can come down that's, somewhat graceful for yourself, and we'll have a seat. Take a moment and you can bring the feet together and the knees out. And we'll find a little Baddha Konasana forward bend here. Just let your head relax. maybe even sway a little bit. We'll start to come back up. I want you to take your strap that you have. I don't want you to put a big lift under your head, but if when you lie back, you feel like you're kind of shrugging, you know, and your chin's kind of jutting up, do put a little something behind it. All right, so we don't want it to be up so high that your chin now is going to be pushed into your chest, but if it feels right to have something supporting your neck or just slightly cushioning your head, that's okay. Okay, take that. All right. So let's take our strap, placing it just up on the ball of the right foot. So left foot staying on the floor. Separate the ends of your strap or your scarf or whatever you have here so that you can pull your hands down the edges. Sliding left leg down the mat when you're ready. You don't ever have to get to that point, but you can take it down the mat. Go ahead and do so. I want you to relax your shoulders, relax your mouth, your jaw, your throat. See if you can find a little more softness in your shoulders, around your neck. You can take both ends of your strap or your whatever you're holding here. Just kind of hold with your left hand up a little closer to the foot itself. Arm will just rest out to the side, the right arm. I'm going to slide this left leg a little more into center and then start to let that right leg drop over to the left side, but pause about halfway there. Not looking for a big rotation, not just yet anyway. Just moving it slightly across and letting it just pause before we get too far. Going to start to feel probably a little more here on the outside of your right leg, down that IT band. Especially if you can keep your right side pressed down a little more, just let the leg cross. And then eventually we can continue that rotation, taking it as far over as you can onto your left side and then pushing out through the foot. So that might be pretty intense. You may like to just go ahead and bend your knee here and see how that feels. Trying to keep that right shoulder pressed mostly down. Let's just find another breath or two here. Back to center. And then we'll just switch sides, so placing right foot on the floor. Reposition yourself so that you're in the center. Left leg goes up. Let your hands slide down your strap so that you feel your arms just resting on the floor beside you, so that you don't have to feel like you're yanking or pulling or struggling to hold anything. And then if you like to slide that right leg further down the mat, increasing your stretch and getting a little more into the hip flexor on your right side, as well as the hamstrings on the left. Big deep breath in, exhale it out like a sigh. When you're ready, we'll start to take the right hand just further up the strap holding, left arm resting. Start to slide that leg across, maybe just a few inches to start, and hold. Ooh, feel how different that is, rather than just moving right through it. Might slide your right foot a little bit more into center so that that leg is not way off to the right. And then we'll slide over the rest of the way, twisting. Just trying to rock slowly onto your right hip. Right pinky toe side of the foot, and you might bend that top leg just a bit if you need to relieve any tension or stress that you're holding here. Feel like you could rotate both inner thighs toward each other just a little bit. One more breath. Slowly bring it back up to center. We'll release and place the foot on the floor. So your very last couple moments here. If you like to do bridge, again, you may or may not need that cushion behind your head. I don't want it to push your head forward if you're doing bridge, so I'm going to move mine. Okay, so feet are parallel, and let's just find a nice little bridge lift. You could stay here for the next few breaths, or you can move in and out of your bridge. It just feels really nice, I think, to kind of continue to open up the front body. And take what you need, maybe one more breath or one more movement. And we can let the knees just kind of sway side to side. If you like to do a little knee to chest, you could take that option as well. You could even take an extra little spin side to side with your knees, or a nice little happy baby. Anything that feels good, right for you. So positioning yourself again, however you feel most comfortable to stay here for a few moments. Since I already have all these props nearby, I'm just going to grab them. Okay. So placing something under the knees, something under my head. But you take what feels good and right for you. If you have bolsters nearby, you want to build yourself a little nest real quick, you could do that. But ideally, just finding a space that you can come to, that you can get still and you can get quiet. Check in with your feet and your hands. Wiggle the toes and wiggle the fingers, and then maybe even kind of clutch the fingers and the toes, and then release. Feel the muscles coming up the legs, getting softer. Up the thighs, feel heavy. Up the arms, from your forearm to your elbow and your elbow to your shoulder, relax. Feel your entire body as it sinks a little deeper into your mat. As your torso feels heavy, melting down from the front body to the middle and all the way into your low back and middle back space. Maybe come back to the gratitudes that you had earlier in your practice, placing them each one by one at the center of your heart. Breathing in deeply, as though you could take your breath right into the center of the heart. With your exhale, just feel like that space kind of almost explodes and moves outward, and you feel it moving so that you're putting those gratitudes out into the world. They're just moving out like little rays of light. So radiating from the center of you into the world. As you start to find a little gentle movement again with your fingers, your toes, your wrists and your ankles. We'll start to bring the feet back to the mat, bending the knees, and then just rolling yourself over to one side for a moment. Just catch that moment that you can pause with knees bent, head rested. And Just feel how nice it is to be supported here, and let go of everything that's not serving you today as you begin to press yourself up gently. We come back into this seated space together. So as we take a moment, sitting tall, shoulders rolling back and down, take a big deep breath in, sweep the arms up as though you can gather up all of the extra gratitudes out there in the world today, everything that everybody else has put out that is of good, that is of peace, and that is being meant for you to receive. I want you to bring it right down. Bring it to your heart center and back into that space where you first started. Okay, so bowing, knowing that this is where your wisdom lies. And I thank you for showing up today. Namaste.